This is the southwest corner.
Okay, then that's impossible. 46 pictures later, and it's complete darkness there.
Yeah,
Well, that's not possible. I'm sorry.
Considering the fact that what they're taking at least 3 magazines.
I think they had about 10 magazines on Apollo 17.
I mean, per EVA.
Oh, per EVA. Probably
Yeah.
about three or four.
Well, you got two astronauts.
This is the
Yeah,
same magazine. Magazine 134, 46 pictures later, and yet it's in darkness. You telling me that the moon moves that fast across the sky? Now we're talking Space 1999, where the moon gets blasted out of Earth's orbit, because that's the only way you're going to get a shadow like this
yeah.
46 images later.
The shadows move 14 times less.
14 times less than they do on Earth.
So for 14 hours, if you were out on an EVA for 14 hours, the length of the shadow would change the same as if you were on Earth for 1 hour. So you can't have that much of a shadow difference. And see, those are brilliantly lit on the left there. It's not even close to coming into shadow.
Here's another picture. Looking at the lander, you got the same crater, you got the same mound, and this is 448, one before the previous image. And this is taken a wee bit earlier. This is 442 on the same magazine.
Now, how can you have that?
What? The astronaut is now lit up like a Christmas tree here.
Yeah. See where the southwest corner is? Way down in that corner. All the way down there. The geophone rock are not anywhere near that corner.
There's the geophone rock there.
Yeah. If you stood to the right of the rock and shot to the left, you're going to see that big mountain, not that corner. There's the corner way down there. That's the corner that they were shooting in. When you see the shadow angle and everything else, they were all the way down in that corner. But that corner is not there in this picture. It's behind on the left. If you go left on that picture, all the way to the end of the mountain that way, all the way to the left on it, that's where that other place is being shot. But even when you look at the diagram from the press kit, they're showing those features are in the southwest corner. And there again, that's the southwest corner right down there behind the LEM.
You've got to be kidding. You see, there is something really wacky going on here.
Well, you can't be down in that corner. You can't be in any corners because the LEM is out in the middle of this entire feature, all of these features.
Yeah, it is.
Nowhere near a corner.
It's miles away from that. Miles away. There's the flag.
There's the experimental equipment, there's the rock, and all of a sudden, it's all the way down into that corner, but that corner down there doesn't have those features.
Yeah, they're over here somewhere.
Yeah, they're in
And
the
that's
southeast corner instead of the southwest corner.
Then that other one where Marcus, where you have your arrow, that's all in darkness in the previous one, because in those other two images, that is all in darkness over there. The
yeah.
whole thing.
This picture has the experimental equipment in relationship to the rock, in relationship to the LEM.
Yeah, there it is.
And that shows you what is wrong. And then again, you're looking at it, look at the sun angle, how high it is here. So you can't have that other shot with the shadows everywhere. That couldn't happen either, could it?
That's with the sun almost overhead.
Yeah,
Well, no. Well,
it's above 45 degrees because the
yeah, about
shadow
45.
is.
Okay. Yeah, it's about right. Sort of mid-afternoon. You can see the shadow. It goes out about there.
Yeah, when you see the other shots, it's probably 50, 55 degrees is what the sun angle is there. Well above what is recorded at being maximum 45 degrees, right?
But compare it to the pictures taken probably maximum about an hour later. There's the geophone rock, experimental package.
Yeah, well, you see there again where the experimental package is. There's nothing over there. If you were standing at the experimental package, the central station and stuff shooting over the rock, those
Yeah.
features aren't there either.
Isn't it amazing how dark the shadow is? When it doesn't really matter, you can see it. But when you got the same thing with the lander and a shadow, you can see all the detail you want to see.
Photographic magic, I would call that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. They probably changed it all when they got back to Earth and they decided they were going to get some detail in it. You can't do that with transparency material.
Look at
That's
that. Is a
not
very strange where that crosshair is on the left side. What is that? A crab hiding in a rock?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them.
there's
They're
something
all-
hiding in there. One of those wonderful rocks you get on the moon.
Yeah, but there again, here we have another set design that doesn't match anything else that we've been looking at. And then you come back to that and it's completely different again.
Look how dark the rock is, the shadow in the rock. No detail at all. Yeah.
This is the northeast corner of the set. Does it line up anywhere with the South Massive? Where you take the thing and you put the X on there, it's in the middle, but it's not here. That's not in the middle of the set. It kind of looks like they put it in there like it's in the middle, but when you look at the South Massive, it's not anywhere near the middle of it.
The Pro NASA Club will say that that is perspective. They'll say it depends where you take the image from. And by the way, look at all the junk that's laying inside of that crater. Every time you see a crater, you're going to see loads of junk in there.
Like I said, I have looked at that for so long. I am convinced when they were finished shooting the set for the last time that they literally just shotcreted the LEM at Flagstaff into the ground there and left it. This is the picture that we were on. And when you come in here and you see all of this, they put a form up to pour that. And when you look at the dimensions of this and the height that they are compared to it, and the different arms come down, that's just like LEM that they just tucked in there.
Yeah, you can actually see the shadows.
Yeah, you can. You can see a lot of detail.
You see all this coming across here, it almost looks like there's different pieces of equipment going across a bar here. You can see the pipes running around and all kinds of stuff in here on the side of this thing. There's a bunch of stuff in here. You can see the bars and everything else, right? Like I said, whatever it is for a piece of equipment, they buried it, and I still believe that it's, and this is where he was supposed to write something about his daughter or something in here. All you see is handprints here at the moment. But that gives you the height, having him standing there. You're looking at a rock that's 24 feet high. That's the height of the LEM right there. This is the east side, and this is completely different when you look at it from here than from other pictures looking to the east.
Now look at all those hills are nicely illuminated.
That's the southeast. That's the southeast. Yeah, well, you're looking at the sun angle and height here again, right? You can get the angle right from that. It's almost vertical. But this different sequence running through here from being up in the northeast corner, you're into a completely different terrain. See if these rocks look weird or not. Yeah, they look really weird. Oh my God.
You know what one guy in the comment section said? Well, this is an alien environment, so why should it look anything like the Earth?
It's not. It's going to look exactly the same as it would on Earth.
Try telling that to Over the Moon, because he's in the comment section making these statements. So
Yeah. Well, there was another guy there that said we haven't provided any evidence yet.
one guy in the comment section was also saying that, well, the Apollo images aren't all perfect. There's a lot of them that are overexposed, underexposed, blurred. Well, yeah, he's right. There are. But that's what you would expect if you're going click, 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 click like this.
But when you take a look at this, the rock, the experimental equipment is right there. Where the hell's that corner with all the mountains in it?
What?
There's the experimental equipment right there. There's the rock. There's the LEM.
Where are all those hills?
Well, they are down in this corner. Down in this corner is where they exist. They also appear to be up in this corner from one of the shots. What we were looking at, Tracy's rock is about up in here. It's not all the way over there. It's right there. They don't show any detail across there. Some of those mountains we're looking at aren't there. But that's Tracy's rock from there, looking down over what we saw the little dot for the LEM.
You know what I see in this image that you're showing right now? You see where it says sculptured hills all the way along there? That looks to me like a fourth wall. And you would have all your cameras pointing down.
Here's arrows. They built the set with this. It's movable. They're designed to slide up and down. and back and forth. And then they fill it in with the talus there. And that's the same here. And that's the same here where they fill the talus in on that. And these are movable as well. All of these are here. That's how this set is built on the thing.
It still amazes me. 4 alternate locations, and they just happened to make it here the first time.
What you're looking at is 9 miles across this way, if you were on the moon, and pretty close to 30 miles this way.
When you look at this diagram, how did they have this diagram made 3 months before they left, and it is so accurate that when we see the photos, it lines up perfectly with this? You cannot do that from the lunar orbiter because you cannot get that kind of detail from that orbiter to show you these tiny little details that are 10 foot above the ground.
You're right.
There's your field of view that you're looking at it on. And if you measure these little squares at 25 feet, you will have the size that the documents say these crater sizes are. Oh, that's the other thing Charles Duke did. He said North Ray Crater was 300 feet across or something.
Yeah.
It's 1.1 kilometers across. How could you miss that? And he also said, oh yeah, when we're orbiting around the moon, we came up, and he said, and there it was right in front of us, North Ray Crater. So we knew, well, there's a hell of a lot of craters on the moon. I didn't see, like, they have rocks, you know, they put moon rock on it for a label. You think there was anything that distinguished a hole in the ground between every other hole in the ground that they would know that it's North Ray Crater if it's only 300 feet across when you're 60 miles up?
I thought he said it was 300 to 350 feet across, and then we look at this, and what is it again?
1.1 kilometers.
Well, how can he get that wrong?
Yeah. Well, if you get it wrong by that much, how can you identify it when you are orbiting the moon? Okay?
Oh,
How many thousands of craters are there on the moon? And you have no idea where you are unless they have a label on them already. I already have a problem with how they label shit on the moon to start with, because everything's got a label on it before they even get there.
yeah.
When he was talking to Bart, he goes, oh, we're orbiting around, and there it was, right in front of us. So then we descended down to land. How the hell do you know that's North Ray Crater? How many craters that size are there on the moon? Hundreds of thousands of them. You don't even know if you're in the right path. They don't have any equipment out there to tell them exactly where they are. So there's no way they're going to know that. But if you were in a simulator, it's going to take you there, right?
That's where they did most of the commentary, in a simulator.
Yeah. That just said to me straight up, like, he's just repeating what was in a simulator kind of stuff. You take Apollo 11, and they practiced and practiced and practiced, and Neil was, very staunch man, very serious and everything else. And you see his movements and all kinds of stuff, because he's doing this the very first one. You hit Apollo 12, and they're goofing around like crazy. They got all kinds of goofy stuff in the cue cards, and, made that little funny video and all of that stuff. And then they probably couldn't get anybody for Apollo 13, so they had to blow it up. Then they go back to 14. Well, let's take some golf clubs with it because everybody's watching I Love Lucy. Oh, that's not good enough. Let's take a rover. So 15, 16, and 17, they're doing that. They got so relaxed on doing this at Flagstaff because that set that you're looking at is probably 1,000, 1,200 feet wide by, 3,000, 3,500 feet long. That's what they built at Flagstaff. And by the way, you could put that in right over top of the dump site at Flagstaff. And then you got all that junk coming up out of the ground. They could quite easily, at that physical size, build those mountains that are movable and adjustable for them. And because they're movable and adjustable, we're seeing that in the photographs because they don't appear to be in the same spot all the time. Neither does the rover appear to be in the same spot all the time. That just can't happen.
No, it does happen on Apollo, though, doesn't it?
Amazing, isn't it?
Because it's not like Earth. Anything can happen on Apollo because it's not like Earth. The sun angles can change. The perspective can change. The cameras can change. The film is magic film on the moon. It records things which can't be recorded.
Batteries run forever.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Magic of Apollo. It's just such a shame they can't do it now. Well, we'll see with Artemis 2 coming up next year. When did Artemis start? About 12 years ago. Apollo was 1961 to 1969, 8 years, start to finish, build everything, test everything, get to the moon, 8 years, start to finish. Artemis, 12 years, can hardly launch off Earth, let alone land on the moon. It's sad. It's one of those conundrums that we have to apply game theory to.
Oh, one other thing I'd like to mention too is that over the moon fella in the comment section. He says, "Oh, you're talking about polarizing filters. You don't need a viewfinder for those." He says they adjusted those when they were back on Earth. And I'm going, "Oh, really? So that means that they could have used the polarized filters to filter out Buzz Aldrin so that he's in darkness, and then turn the filter the other way so he's in light. So he's all
Yep.
lit up like a Christmas tree. Why didn't they use that filter? How come? Because the lighting is going to change on the moon. Because it does. Let's just look at this, for example. 46 photos. All of a sudden, the sun's gone down. Well, you're going to have to adjust that polarized filter now, aren't you, if you want to take images in the shadows?
Exactly. Now, has this knowledgeable person, whoever he is, ever used a polarizing filter on a camera? Probably not, or he would know that you need a viewfinder in the correct position for the sun angle of the image you're photographing.
Oh, but he says something to the effect that you could just look at it like this through your helmet and you turn it like this until you get what you're looking for and then just go kerplunk, put that over the lens on the camera and it's going to see what you just saw.
So how many times have we seen astronauts doing this with a piece of glass and then adjusting their camera? We've never seen it. Come on, if you're explaining a technical detail, get it right. Don't make assumptions.
He was either using Grok or Chat GPT. It said that the focus and everything was automatic.
It wasn't
right.
automatic. That was the whole point. The polarizing filter is on the front of the lens on the camera. You would see an astronaut moving it. You don't. It never happened. They didn't use a polarizing filter because they couldn't see through a viewfinder to use it. At least get the technical details right before you criticize it.
Yeah, but like I said, he was either using ChatGPT or Grok to come out and say that, and it also said that they never had a 500 mil lens either. I just sent him the photo number, and that just shut him up.
Yeah, but that's what the astronaut was using in Apollo 17 that I keep showing in the videos. That is a 500 millimeter telephoto lens that he's using.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he's saying it's not
How does he know?
because Grok told him so. And I said, okay, yeah, well, Grok might have told you and ChatGPT might have told you, but they also told us that no pocket mice were taken on any Apollo mission. And then I had to correct it, and it said, oh, thank you for correcting me. You were right. That's the wisdom of AI for you.
Yeah.
You mean alien intelligence, that one, that hallucinates and makes things up when it can't work it out? That intelligent?
Yes.
Come on, guys, get real. ChatGPT is still in kindergarten. They haven't got it sorted yet.
No.
It makes things up as it goes along. It hallucinates.
Yeah.
So don't rely on something which is unreliable. Go back to the documentation.
And I still can't get over Kilimanjaro. How much that looks like the massive, doesn't it? My God. Just look at that.
It's a great photograph, that one. That one with the giraffe in it.
Yeah.
Lovely photograph. And you can see all the detail you'd expect to see in the giraffe and in Mount Kilimanjaro.
From that elevation, when I looked at it, that's 5,986 meters above that ground where that giraffe is. Why don't we see any of that in Apollo?
Because they never went, that's why.
Precisely.
And the people who were creating the images got it wrong.
Oh, and by the way, too, we're not talking about just the moon. But let's look at that image there with that giraffe. You're also going to have lensing effect from the atmosphere, which means that that mountain is actually further away than what you're seeing
Yeah.
here.
And you can see that lovely band of cloud above the giraffe's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a photograph that you expect to see.
Yeah, you're right. So when they're on the so-called moon, that's what we should see when they're standing around the LEM.
Because it's not like Earth, we see different things. It's very hard to judge distance on the moon until you start looking in detail at it, which is what we've done. That famous image of the Tracy's Rock with the lander in the background. Not supposed to be there, by the way. It's supposed to be somewhere completely different. But if you believe they landed on the moon, you believe everything NASA tells you. It's all so sad, isn't it? So sad that people actually believe humans landed on the moon
Yeah.
over 50 years ago.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
for those people who think that that happened, tell them to slide down to, Houston, grab an Uber to the moon, because after this many years, they should have daily flights there and back.
Of course you should. Quite cheap flights too. I mean, even Concorde got quite cheap in the end when
Yeah.
they did tourist flights. They fly it over the Atlantic. You see it going supersonic.
And
Well,
of
that's
course,
what Manny said, right?
Yeah.
and of course,
But-
low Earth orbit, I mean, that should be happening all the time.
Yeah, of course it should.
There should be as many people in low Earth orbit as there are on airplanes at any given time. How many millions of people are on airplanes in the air at any given time?
Last question. What happened to the ISS being sold to the private industry and then private industry turning that into a space hotel?
That'd be great.
You don't hear that anymore, do you?
No,
Tom Cruise was going to make a movie. He was supposed to take his entire movie crew up there and make a movie on
Was.
the ISS. That never happened.
Nope.
I remember that story of NASA saying they were going to land humans on the moon. They got lots of pictures and films to show it happened. I've heard of optical printers. I've heard of things not happening the way somebody says they did.
No, the creators of AI, they had to come up with a drug for the AI, and I call it Otrazone.
Nice one.
I mean, that worked on Red Dwarf. They fed that to Abel, and Abel became addicted to the Otrazone, right? And they tried to get him off it because he was a junkie. Now, this is the stuff for robots back then, and Otrazone would fit fine with this AI because it's really going off on a hallucinogenic journey.
It's all so sad, isn't it?